Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chairman Powell, good to see you. Thank you for being here. It's been a rather uneventful couple of days for you, considering you've spent 2 days in this place. And I'm not going to upset that, by the way, just so you know. But I did appreciate your response earlier to Senator Scott when he asked about immigration, and you said the Fed hasn't been assigned that. So I want to bring up something else you haven't been assigned to that you and I have talked about over the years, and that, of course, is climate, the role of climate in your job, the role of climate risk in banking. And you've often said, I think the most common statement was, we should stick to our knitting, I think is one of yours, stay in our lane, similar to what you said probably to Senator Scott. But that said, in October, the Fed, the OCC, the FDIC issued climate guidance, as you know, for management of covered institutions. And so I'm just kind of curious, did Congress somewhere along the line give the Fed authority over climate policy as well? Or is that another one of those things that somebody just took on? And I realize you're not the dictator of the Fed, only the chairman of the Fed. But I'd be interested in, as the chairman, your views on it.
Our assignment is the safety and soundness of banks, and that they understand and can manage the risks that they face. That's our assignment. And we said in climate world we would do two and only two things. One of them was to do illustrative stress scenarios, scenarios, not stress scenarios, climate scenarios, so that the banks are already doing this. The large banks who are subject to this, they're already doing it because they're doing business internationally and they don't have any choice. So we said we'd do that, and we also said that we'd offer guidance on not on the level of climate risk or anything like that, just on what you had to do to be in a position to assess. And that's, for my thinking, that's it. That's what we're doing. And we're not doing it. There are no new initiatives. We're not going to change our capital requirements to reflect climate risk or anything like that. I'm really determined that we are not a climate policymaker, and that is really the business of elected officials.
Very good. Thank you. I'm going to bring up one other topic I don't know that's been brought up today, and that's central bank digital currency. I think from a lot of my friends out there, I think I know there's some confusion. I mean, I'm easy to confuse, but there are a lot of people that get confused about what is meant by the administration's, admonition to continue researching, experimenting, looking at some sort of central bank digital currency. I think people back home look at that and go, "Oh my gosh, they're going to control this now." And could you maybe just differentiate a little bit what people think of in terms of a Bitcoin or their held digital currencies versus what a central bank digital currency, who, in my view, should emulate cash, right? It still should be about the dollar, not about some different kind of currency. Could you just sort of help people back home better understand why they shouldn't be quite so frightened?
First of all, I want to say that we're nowhere near recommending or let alone adopting a central bank digital currency in any form. But the idea is that as technology has evolved, money has become digital. So, but the government doesn't issue digital money. It's digital. If you look at your bank account, people don't hold those physical dollars. They're digital. So the thought was that the government could create a digital form of money that people could then transfer among themselves. Now, of course, that raises a concern that if that were a government account, that the government would see all your transactions, and that's just something we would not stand for or do or propose here in the United States. That is how it works in China, for example. But that's not what if we were to ever to do something like this, and we're a very long way from even thinking about it, we would do this through the banking system. The last thing we would want, the Federal Reserve would want, would be to have individual accounts for all Americans, or any Americans for that matter. Only banks have accounts at the Fed, and that's the way we're going to keep it. So it's just really, it's a question of following technology as it evolves, and in a way that serves the public better. People don't need to worry about a central bank digital currency. Nothing like that is remotely close to happening anytime soon.
That was very helpful. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Chairman.